Well, I guess aesthetics were nice while it lasted. And that's kind of the problem. They're selling us an illusion. High quality art supplies at a low price? Just don't look too closely. Back when I worked studio and then freelance art, alcohol markers were just an everyday, normal part of the daily job. For the last decade, though, I've taught specifically marker art classes. In 30 years of markers, this is the first time I've lit a candle. I started teaching art because of all the bad marker information floating around on internet chat boards. And I'm here at YouTube now for the same reason. Whether you're a fan of the Zen coloring experience, or maybe you like watching cheerleaders who
absolutely can't believe how amazing these markers are.
You're not buying the markers or the marker paper. You're buying into a dream. That fantasy, the one where you purchase all the cheap products and the commissions start rolling in tomorrow. Yeah, that lasts about as long as it takes to uncap one of these markers and put it to paper. Markers are hard if you're using hard markers. In today's video, I'm not here to crush your dreams. I just want to let you know that you're not alone in your disappointment. We've all been told that this is just as good as this, and that any old this will work perfectly fine. It's wrong, and you know it's wrong because you're not getting the same results that you see from your marker heroes here on YouTube. It happened to me in my last video. I bought the Ohuhu bleed-proof marker pad based on what looked like 100% raving reviews, and it turned out to be one of the worst papers I've ever tried. I'm 53 years old. I'm not new to markers. I've seen a lot of art supplies come and go, but I have never seen so many half-truths and deceptions. We need to stop being chumps. Your money and your time have value, and if you don't have a lot, it's even more valuable. Marker companies are flooding YouTube with free samples of their latest cheap markers, cheap paint pens, and cheap paper. I'm a small channel, and this channel sat dormant for 5 years. That whole time, I was getting flattering offers from these itty-bitty marker companies who were totally blown away by my latest video, and they wanted to send me free gifts. You're being played. If one marker company fills your suggested video feed, if their ads follow you all around the internet, well, they must be good products because everybody's using them. If I see another YouTuber begin their video by cutting open a cardboard box and thanking the fine folks for sending them free gifts, stop. Just stop. I don't want to watch some giggle girl swatch markers for 15 minutes. And you should be tired of this too. I know you're on a tight budget. I know the markers and their paper pads are cheaper, but that doesn't mean it's worth the price you're paying. In my last video, you watched me struggle to color on Ohuhu's bleed-proof marker pad. And if you haven't watched it yet, you really got to see that video because it's one gigantic fail after another. I will never get those 2 hours of my life back. I used far more ink than I normally would. I can't return the paper, and I certainly can't teach classes with it. And I almost cried. That crappy paper brought me to my knees. I felt like a failure. I felt stupid. I was doubting myself. It's the most unfun I've ever had.
But hey, great price. You should totally try it too.
So how can we be smarter shoppers in the future? And can we be wiser when we're watching videos here at YouTube? The first thing is to finally be honest with ourselves. Nobody owes you inexpensive art supplies. It's time to grow up. Let's think about the economics of this. Consider how much good quality ink might cost, and then what it costs to design and manufacture an original marker product that isn't knocking off someone else's hard work. And then think about the cost to make markers in a factory that doesn't exploit their workers. When you insist on paying less and less, and then you fanboy all over the companies that do it, you're the problem. Next, when someone starts off a video saying,
I've never tried alcohol markers before, but
they're a beginner too, and they don't have much more information than you do. Even if that person has years of art experience, they can still be dead wrong about basic facts and advice in a medium that's outside of their normal focus. Give it a thumbs down and leave before the first minute. Trust me, they will get the message to stop making shill videos. By the way, I've never tried hang gliding before. Be sure to check out my Hang 10 channel after you finish this video. Like and subscribe! Next, if they show more than 2 minutes of swatching, I own all 358 Copics and I have never swatched them all. I'm too busy using them. Swatching is a way to procrastinate making a real video. And I can't even begin to contemplate what watching someone swatch means. When you start watching a video, ask yourself, is this a video about marker art? Or is it a video about the art of making marker art? It's not the same thing. Look, I can be an expert in markers, or I can specialize in capturing that perfect golden hour shot with me sitting at my desk, thinking about the meaning of life, with a marker in my hand. I don't have time to do both. Where is the camera pointed for most of the video? It's not a real marker video if they're hiding the markers. Next, turn down the sound and watch without distractions. If they show the paper close up, then quick, hit the pause button. Many of the blends that you'll see here on YouTube are not as good as you assume. Heck, most people aren't even blending anymore. The cheap markers and the bad paper won't let them. It's called confirmation bias. You clicked on my pretty thumbnail, so you automatically assume that I know what I'm doing, whether I deserve that or not. I was honest and emphatic about how bad the blends were on my tomato project. Don't confuse my sparkling personality with my marker skills. Finally, I want to share a little secret with you. With training, practice, and skill, an experienced artist can make complete look good. So let me take you back to my last video where I struggled and lost the battle with Ohuhu's bleed-proof marker pad. I do not recommend this paper, and if you've watched the video, you know exactly why. Here's a summary of the problem zones. So first, I have these areas where the paper is totally oversaturated with ink. These spots are dark and sticky, and they will never dry. There are some streaks here where my marker nib picked up that stickiness and tracked it over here. These won't go away. I have 2 spots where the red ink dried with a strong metallic sheen to it. It kind of looks like an oil slick on pavement if you look at it from the right angle. I have this area here where the blends did not happen because the wood content of the paper bonded with the R14 ink. This whole area is a mess, and it's not even close to what I wanted it to look like. My colors are too dark on the skin. I had to go darker to make the blend happen. The seed area and the core here, it's a complete bust. This paper turns dark gray when wet, and that makes it impossible to see light marker inks. With normal paper, this area would already look realistic, and it doesn't. And last, the green markers here, they lost all their contrast. I still don't understand why this happened. Now, normally, if I'm doing a job and there are this many fatal flaws, I would have abandoned the project long ago. But I'm angry because people are praising this paper like the face of a saint magically appeared on it. So I want to show you exactly how I saved the project. And I want you to think about it and whether you're equipped to do the same exact thing every time you color. Okay, so this project cannot be saved by more marker. The paper is so thin, and I've already given it more ink than it can absorb. So the solution has to come from either acrylic pens or colored pencils. And since I've turned down 3 offers for free acrylic pens, because I don't know jack squat about acrylic pens, I'm going to stick with what I know, colored pencils. I'm using Prismacolor pencils plus my usual 1 Derwent Lightfast purple pencil, but I almost grabbed Holbein pencils. This paper is extremely soft, so I need a soft pencil that will adhere to the surface without applying a lot of pressure. I have firmer pencils, but they're the wrong tool for the job. Easy does it, soft strokes, light layers, slow fixes. I'm using purple here to re-establish that underpaint color that the paper somehow ate. I have no idea where the original V20 marker disappeared to, but I need the desaturation it brings, so I'm doing it again now with purple pencil. I shouldn't have to do this. I usually end up adding more of the underpaint color, but here it feels like I'm starting over from scratch. So not only was it a complete waste of V20 ink, it's a waste of colored pencil to do it again, and a waste of time. Now I'm switching to a white pencil to rectify what this paper did to my greens. I used 2 totally different green markers here, and you would never know it. The paper merged them together, and that flattened the sepal. So I'm moving down the length of each leaf thing, and I'm finding the edges which should be catching the light, and I'm rescuing them. Again, this is a step I shouldn't have to do. I set this up with 2 greens plus a violet underpaint, which always works on other papers. But here, the paper let me down. Okay, so I thought I would start on the tomato skin, but this area is sticky and it's overly dark. I'm not really sure how to fix it. The purple pencil isn't even sticking well to the paper. I'm kind of stumped here, so I'm going to jump over to the fleshy parts of the tomato. Once I have a better feeling for how to color over sticky marker, then I can come back and fix the skin. So I'm using a green pencil to add the unripened part of the core. I had a green marker ready to do this step earlier, but when this paper is wet, it's super dark gray, and you can't see any of your light marker colors until the paper dries. When I saw that gray, I abandoned half of my marker plans and basically just base coated all of the yellow areas. What good is a marker paper if you can't color with light markers on it? Now, I'm going to dance around the worst sticky patch. This is a cream colored pencil, and I'm using it because it's opaque. And this is a crimson pencil, also opaque. The blends here are bad, so the opaque pencils are going to hide the worst streaks. And I'm hoping that their opacity will hide the stickiness and also the really weird metallic sheen that's in this teardrop shape right here. Many of my students will know that something's wrong here because I never double up on my colors. If I'm coloring with a red pencil on a red area, that's not normal. And the pencil doesn't even feel like it's touching the paper here. It's sliding around. It's like I'm driving on black ice where you lose contact with the paper in short bursts. Okay, so when this area refused to blend with the markers, I totally ditched my plans to variegate the reds, and I ended up just praying for smoothness. So I'm going to be switching back and forth here between the crimson and cream to add what I couldn't do with the markers, and and also distract you from the streaky surface. So the cream hides the streaks where the flesh should be light red, and the crimson is hiding the streaks where the flesh is darker. And all this talk about hiding the marker, it's really pissing me off, because if I have to hide the marker, what's the point of even using the marker? While I'm trying to fix the tomato flesh here, can I just say something about the tone of this video? Because I know I'm going to hear about it in the comment section later. I'm not throwing shade at any particular marker artist here at YouTube. I'm throwing shade at the system. I just can't keep silent about this anymore. The deceptive marketing, it's too much. But if you think I'm picking on your favorite YouTuber, here's how I see it. Making YouTube videos is a choice. Putting yourself out there as a role model is a choice. And accepting free gifts in exchange for encouraging people to waste their money when you didn't have to waste any of your money, that's a choice too. And up until now, when you buy a product that doesn't work, you don't blame the YouTuber who sold you on it. You blame yourself. You must not be talented enough. You must not be good enough. You know, maybe you're just not good at art. No, it's not you. This paper sucks, and so does the person who said it's great. When you put a slick gloss on a product, which is guaranteed to cause most people headaches and heartache, you deserve some shade. We're going to jump ahead in time here because everything that I've done up until this point is fixing problems with the paper. Stuff that I never have to do on good paper. We're finally at the point where I'm doing something normal. I'm adding texture. To be clear, everything that came before this point and the 20 minutes that I skipped was me trying to fix the sticky spots, the streaks, the bad blends, and the metallic sheen areas. And because I normally don't spend 40 minutes fixing something with pencil, I'm not totally sure this texture is going to work. This paper is moderately toothy. It feels like that cheap children's drawing pad that you can get in the school supply section at Target or Walmart. It's got some tooth to it, but not enough for lots of colored pencil. So you can kind of see as I lay down the texture, sometimes it doesn't stick, and you'll see me blowing the dust away or brushing it with the side of my hand. And I'm having to press harder too. This entire section, and everything you see me doing with a red pencil, is something I should have been able to do with R12 and R14 Copics, but the grayness of the paper would not let me. I think it works out to like 35 minutes of coloring, where the only thing I'm doing is the subtle shaping and carving the form, things which all should have been finished during the marker phase. When you see the lavender and white pencils, those are bits that I would normally do in colored pencil. But all of the crimson details, they would have looked better and smoother if I could have done them in ink. This is what I meant when I said that the grayness was a total deal breaker. As an artist, I rely on feedback from the colors on my paper. The entire process of making art is a conversation between you and the paper. This paper doesn't speak. It hides the color until it's too late to do anything about it. If you can't get the effects that you want on the paper that you're using, then you're using the wrong paper. And this is why the perfect paper for me may not be the perfect paper for you. But as an art instructor, I can't imagine teaching you how to work blindly with your markers. Just put the marker here and pray is not a good lesson. And here at YouTube, I am very aware that the average person watching a marker video will never take a class and never attend a lesson. You're learning on your own. And if nobody ever tells you that marker paper should never behave this way, how will you know this? This is why I have such an ethical problem with Ohuhu products. The marketing is all sunshine and rainbows, backed up by people who are trying to manifest high-quality art supplies at a low, low price. I don't mean to sound snobby. I'm not ignoring the fact that good marker supplies are expensive. I buy my own markers, my own ink and paper, folks. I'm very aware of the price. but you get what you pay for. And I hate seeing people fail using a paper that was always doomed to fail and then quitting in frustration. Making art should be fun, and on good paper with good markers, there is nothing I would rather do. I want that glowing feeling for you too. Bad art supplies bring you down. So there you go, the tomato project from hell. The colored pencil makes it look pretty good now, but don't be deceived. In person, this thing is a mess. It's sticky and the paper is kind of warped, and it's shiny with heavy colored pencil like 2 inches deep in places. And here's the other problem I haven't mentioned. I have no idea how to store this thing. When I scanned the project to make the thumbnail, it left sticky red gunk on the scanner glass, so it's going to damage anything else that this paper comes in contact with, now and forever. I don't have a project containment chamber. Here's the takeaway. Do you have the time and skills it takes to make this paper look good? I know the Ohuhu bleed-proof marker pad is inexpensive, but does this product deserve any of your money? There's better paper out there, and I think you're worth that investment. For a complete list of the supplies I used today, colors that you can use to make a better tomato on better paper, see the resource page linked down in the description. And if you want to learn more about the paper that I should have used for this project, here's my review-ish video for that.